Access to the information and materials contained in this podcast is at your own risk. The information contained is presented for the purpose of educating the consumer on a variety of wellness and healthcare topics. The information. Nothing contained is intended to be instructional for medical diagnosis or treatment. The information contained is compiled from a variety of sources. The information should not be considered complete and exhaustive and should not be in place of a visit or consultation with your own primary care doctor. Welcome to the Concierge Doc Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Jason Littleton, CEO and founder of Littleton Concierge Medicine. You know, we have an exciting show. I love bringing guests on the show that have unique backgrounds, that have something to add to the medicine conversation. And, you know, I think it's so important to be able to hear from a myriad of people. And today I have just this awesome guest, John Baxter, and we're going to talk about who he is as a person, as an inventor, his technologies, and I have some questions that I know that people would want to hear from you, that they would want to articulate in a certain way, and I'm going to ask some of these questions because, you know, I'm very interested to learn all about you and what it is that you do. So John, first of all, thank you for on my podcast. Thanks for the show. Tell my audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I have I was an athlete when I was young, and when I was young, I was allergic to a lot of stuff. I was jaundiced when I was born. I was allergic to milk, detergent, pretty much all the normal things that most kids never had to deal with. Mm-hmm. Runny nose constantly, allergic to milk as well, cat fur, like all this stuff happened to me since I was little. So sports was my outlet. And wow. So I never thought it would come to this, but I was an elite athlete and I broke my neck.
Wow.
When I was 20 years old.
How did you break your neck?
I was a martial artist and a wrestler.
Okay.
And you know, it was just a strange move that I did on my own. So I had a lot to learn when I was young. When I broke my neck, it was on my own move.
Wow.
So I had a lot to learn about anger, had a lot to learn about a lot of different things. After the accident, I had a lack of trust in the medical system already before I broke my neck.
Yeah.
Because my parents had great insurance and my mom was given many surgeries that the doctor eventually said that she didn't even need. So I had a bad taste in my mouth about the situation, watching my mom suffer from getting surgeries. Mm-hmm. So the situation was I broke my neck and I refused the surgery. So they're like, stubborn kid, you're crazy, you're not gonna make it, and we'll wait for your call. So I got hooked on pain medication for about 1 year. I realized I was likely gonna die from taking pain medication. So I quit cold turkey after 1 year of that. And after that, I became a pioneer in basically betting technology.
And that's what you do now?
That's what I still do. And it's been about 25 years in this specific realm. And so one door closed, my career was done, and one door opened. That's how God does it, I think, because it definitely happened to me. I was put in the position to live with this chronic pain for 15 years. So it's not something I could run away from. I just look at the ceiling every night and think, why is this going on? How could I stop it or prevent it? What's out there? And this is like at the beginning times of the internet. So I actually had all the tools in front of me. It was just where I was looking. So I was learning from all these famous people about how to reduce inflammation, how to try to get over this. And I believe it happened around the year 2001. And I can actually say in 2014, I healed myself without surgery.
Wow.
So it was a good 15 years of chronic pain. I'm talking, you know, if you've ever seen a person with a broken neck, you're moving from your shoulders because of the pain. It allowed me to create the most advanced sleep technology ever. A lot of people have heard of the term zero gravity bed.
Yeah.
That was what I created with my mentor. So my mentor here in Florida, his family sold and offered the first adjustable bed in Florida in 1960. This guy became my mentor right after I broke my neck. So isn't that amazing? And
that is amazing. Your injury led to your success, really. I mean, it led to a pathway where you learned, wait a minute, I've got to take this into my own hands. I got to figure out how I can heal myself. And how do you feel today? I mean, are you healed today? Are you still struggling with the injury?
So this discipline that I had to create in my lifestyle modification to heal my neck, of course, I live a super demanding lifestyle, and my neck is fine. I feel good. Depends on how well I eat, being very disciplined over the years. If I'm traveling a lot, I'm not eating as good. There's no way I can keep a regimen. But overall, I know where I'm at. So that's the difference between me today and the past me. Maybe the past me was more just so disciplined because I wanted this. Today, I realize that in life you need to have a little bit of a mixture. If you can't be a sharpened sword that's so sharp that, that type of discipline is what it took for me to get here. But also, I'm just trying to enjoy life a little bit, not being so strict in my mind. But overall, I know where I'm at, and that's the thing. Before, I was just learning this system. Mm-hmm. Now, the great thing is when we do education and information, like if you heal yourself in that sense, you'll know where you're at. And so a couple things is knowing what to eat, right? What not to eat according to, your DNA or how your DNA reacts with food. So I'm talking all types of things. I call it the 3 pillars of health: exercise, nutrition, and sleep. Sleep, the forgotten regeneration system, like our sleep systems. But if you've got the exercise and nutrition down, and then you get the sleep, then it's really just one of these things that, you can go full forward and all these other technologies that I created. So basically, wherever you're at, you have a tool in the tool shed that you pull out when the things get bad, and then you go to town and you get better.
No, I love it. It's such a blessing to have met you. My business coach, Dr. Stacia Pierce, is the one that connected us. And I'm so glad that she did, because it's really been a game changer for me, because I've purchased one of your devices. I purchased one of the hyperbaric chambers, and it's going into my new clinic, which I'm very excited about. I'm very excited about that. I want to segue that into, tell us about what you're doing now in your company.
Okay, yeah, so we have 86 technologies, and these are intimate technologies to me. I put it together. So we're not everyone's system. We are very strategic. We do a lot of pros and cons with technology, but the main goal was to create a new system of healthcare based on frequency medicine. And a lot of people, when we educate them about frequencies, we're not talking about the pseudoscience that you see out there.
Right.
Scalar
right.
or pseudoscience.
Okay.
The term scalar means you can never measure it. So a long time ago, we decided upon not doing this.
Okay.
That type of frequency medicine.
Right.
Because if you can't measure it, you can't monitor it.
You can't monitor
manage it.
You can't scale it. You don't know if you're improving. It's not quantifiable. I love how you said that, because I think that's a huge question that I think a lot of people have, and it actually leads to my next question. When I ask you, what is frequency medicine? Like, what is that?
Yeah, so the realization is that someone needs to know grounding, because grounding is the baseline of all frequencies. Mm-hmm. It's the complementary force that discharges frequencies. Mm-hmm. So my understanding is literally the top in the world of frequency medicine, because I spent so much time in grounding, it was an unrealized truth to me and when I first started. But when I got into it, I realized that I had a remarkable breakthrough, that grounding is truly a necessary component. And I can tell you why. All of us know what an AC outlet looks like. When we plug something in, why is there 2 AC outlets at the top and 1 ground? It's in a complete system.
It's a circuit.
It's a complete circuit. So if you're thinking about frequency medicine in the body, you must have both to make it a safe, complete system. If we took the ground out of our whole electrical grid, the fire department would be doing nothing but putting out fires throughout the whole system.
Oh, I love the way you put that. I think that makes it very understandable. Because, I'm an MD, I'm an allopathic doctor, I practice allopathic medicine, so it's more conventional in that sense, and I think that's the medicine that a lot of people are used to. But, when we talk about frequency medicine, it's outside of that spectrum, and people are coming to you, and let me ask you this: what are they expecting when they come to you? What do you say to them?
I usually get the people left for dead. So You're talking to a guy that had to go through all this myself.
Yeah.
There's nothing but passion internally in me.
Okay.
Not only there's a passion to help other people, there's a passion to listen to them, but there's also a realization where I'm about 10 years ahead of time, honestly. So when we use everything is frequency, our whole world is frequency. If you talk about quantum or physics in general, we've been clouded in the wrong information.
Now, are there frequencies in our body?
We are made of frequency,
Okay.
and different frequencies are everything, good and bad. Every cell is a different frequency. So think of frequency as a fingerprint.
Okay.
This fingerprint is my fingerprint among all other people in the world.
And every cell has a fingerprint?
Every cell has a specific fingerprint.
Wow.
So we are that level of frequency. All good bacteria, all bad bacteria.
Wow.
So think about that. That's how fast our system works because everything is frequency.
Wow.
So it's not a question of if, right? It's a question of what.
Well, what do you say to people who may not be used to frequency medicine and may hear what you're saying and it's going right over their head, or they don't get it, or they're not connecting the dots with it? Like how but yet they want to know more because they're like, this guy could, add something to my life. Like how do you make that connection? What do you say to people?
Well, we like to do a demonstration. I can talk forever, and likely you may not understand. I like to do demonstrations. Mm-hmm. So not only do I like to prove the technology with meters in front of someone, but the reality is doing the demonstration, someone can see their before and after. Mm-hmm. So it's not a question of if, but let's see the accurate results. If there's any term that kind of matches frequency medicine, it would be truthful medicine. Because if everything is a number and everything could be measured by data, then everything could be measured before and after, and it can be dialed in to the brain, to the cranial nerves, to the heart, to the organs. And not only can you see everything in someone's physiology, you realize the current system where you're pulling blood out of someone. Realize with frequency, why would we ever pull blood out of someone if everything was frequency and I could just scan your body?
Oh, wow.
So the thing is I get a list of everything, and everything is a fingerprint. So even if going into the decimal points, right?
Yeah.
Everything is a frequency. This table is running at a specific frequency.
Wow.
Our hair is a specific frequency. And the thing is, if we scan it and it matches, it is what it is. There's no...
So you try to harmonize with the frequency of that organ or tissue or cell that might have a defect or an issue.
Absolutely. And
Wow.
even metals, like we can find heavy metals in the body because metals themselves, nickel, brass, mercury, lead, these run at a specific frequency. So we never had to do what we do now. The reason that this has been around, so you need to know famous inventors like Nikola Tesla. He already proved this in the 1930s.
Wow.
So I didn't do anything but go to the past and bring it to the future.
Wow.
So it was already there, but people just didn't want to this is something that you can put your health into your own hands per se. So the thing is that in the early 1900s, of course, there was a big push for chemical medicine.
Yeah.
So the thing is during those times, there was monopolies. Like big steel was a monopoly. Big oil was a monopoly. Big health became big pharma.
Yeah.
And so the realization is this was seen as a competing technology.
I see.
And today it is at the forefront of the future of health because it's instantly, you could have one of our machines, our scanner.
Yeah.
It's like a MRI machine along with a full panel blood test machine. And not only that, it scans and corrects the metabolism in your body on a frequency level.
Wow. So in a way, conventional medicine's already using frequencies with some of the imaging technology.
Yeah, so realize there's just like Star Wars, there's a good force and a bad force. Usually what we use, like these machines where you have to wear a lead vest, this is using the opposite side of the force. The negative force. It's called ionizing radiation.
Right. And a lot of people are concerned about having certain scans like CTs, X-rays, because of the X-ray radiation and the potential of cancer risk. But you're saying that what you're talking about, there's not a risk of being exposed in that way.
With our stuff, it's on the... So let's just say red and blue. Blue, in this sense, would be kind of a downward spiral force. Red would be an uplifting force, a healing force.
Wow.
So there's a balance. It's like the yin and yang, positive, negative in magnetics, right? There's electromagnetic frequency, electricity and magnetism in one. It's a unified force.
Wow.
So you got to realize that... when we're talking about these frequencies, these are more of the healing side of the force.
Oh, I see. This is so interesting. Wow. So interesting. And it's something that you're making it so tangible that people can, connect with you and make a difference in their health. Now, is there a role that frequency medicine and conventional medicine play, or maybe not? Or is there a role that, I think a person, let's say, that hates getting their blood drawn may love just coming to you knowing, hey, I don't have to get blood draws anymore. But is there a role that they both play? Or I know we were talking before, even before this interview, and you were saying that how you've tested this against blood, you've tested it in other ways. But is there a role that frequency medicine and conventional medicine can play together, or is it just separate?
Yeah, it has to play together, right? There's when we start talking about traditional medicine, it works in so many ways, especially if you're going to stay on the food system. It's designed to keep you on the food system and keep you alive. So the thing is, we just need to integrate. You need to integrate into the current medical environment as an option. Most doctors, they're looking for this. They want to give their patient a little extra. It's not about coming in, writing a script and sending them out. It's about coming in, listening to them, showing them this, improving their health a little bit, maybe their energy level, maybe making sure they feel better. Because energy, oftentimes, if you think about even emotions, fear is a low vibrational force. Love is the highest frequency.
Wow.
Right? So just in general, if someone's depressed and they're low, give them some energy, give them some frequency medicine, raise them up. And guess what? They're not walking out there worried. They're actually saying, I feel pretty good and I'm smiling.
So it can calm people down.
Absolutely.
It can make them feel good.
Absolutely.
That's powerful.
It's very powerful. And like we were saying with the blood test, you're not having to wait 2 weeks. You know what the worst thing is I hate about a blood test?
What?
Is the time from the time I take it to the time I get my
get
results.
The results, right.
That's the most stressful thing I've ever went through.
Yeah.
Why not, like, wouldn't it be cool if I not only told you the before and after, but I gave you a session in between to send you home?
Wow. I mean, this is just powerful. I mean, I can see how you're making a difference in your clients' lives and how, you know, it's not an isolated type of medicine, but it can combine with, you know, allopathic, osteopathic medicine. I mean, that's powerful. That's powerful. I know you've got probably hundreds of testimonies, thousands of testimonies, you know. I mean, look, we got to have a part 2 to this conversation, you know.
Absolutely.
Because there's so many more questions I want to ask, so many more things that I think we can dive into. How can people find you, and how can people come and see you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Littleton. So basically I'm on social media under Real John Baxter.
Okay.
The main company's name is Anti-Aging Bed.
Okay.
This is more of a consumer product that you sleep on with patented USA-made technology.
Wow.
So even thinking it through, you know, people in China can't do what we do. And the situation is, it took me over 6 years to figure that out. So people have heard of grounding, but the reality is they're sleeping on a recalled faulty product made in China.
Wow.
It took me 6 years to figure out how to make elasticity in a conductive fabric. So it's a 4-step process, and no one's going to go to that level because it doesn't mean enough to them. So that's the beautiful thing of our product. It lasts as long as your mattress that you can sleep on at home. So anti-aging bed is that forefront sleep technology in the market. And of course, so those are the 2 ways to find me, and that's like kind of the baseline of frequencies. So it's an important topic to say that you can get this in the comfort of your own home. I just got a testimonial last night where the person slept 14 hours straight, didn't even move because they had a sleep deficit, an inflammation issue, pain, suffering, swelling of the brain, swelling of the heart, and essentially just think of the grounding as a complementary technology against, like I said, the good force and the bad force. Well, what is the bad force? The bad force will be your cell phone, the lights usually in your house, the EMF and Wi-Fi. These would be the negative side of the force. They're not helping us. The grounding essentially pulls that energy and sends it out to the earth. It's not giving you a higher voltage. It's not giving you a higher heat index. Basically, when you're grounded, it hits the body and it travels through you. You're a conduit, but it's not staying in you. When we stand on the concrete slab with shoes, we're just overheating ourselves.
Wow.
And we're getting this voltage from the Wi-Fi and the ionizing thing, and it's causing all types of health issues, including poor sleep. If the waves, the EMF that you're getting and the lights, they're sending our brain waves to a higher, like beta. When the best sleep happens in theta, 4 to 8 hertz. Brainwave pattern will keep you relaxed and able to go to bed. Now, if you're doing nothing and you're wondering why you can't sleep, it's because the Wi-Fi is already giving you a 35 hertz brainwave pattern, which means you're thinking of going to your deadlines. You're up at night thinking, my deadline, my stresses, my finances, and so, or what I need to do, or what I like to do. We're not calming our brains down, and there's nothing we can really do.
That's interesting that you say that, you know, because in my book, Wellspring, The Energy Secrets, our Wellspring, Energize Again, because my first book was called Wellspring, The Energy Secrets to the Good Life. I wrote in there about how you want to get your mind as serene as like a pond and without ripples. And we've all seen a pond with no ripples in it. But as soon as a frog jumps in or someone throws a stone in, it just has this ripple effect. And I kind of parallel that to like the brain being hyperactive and, in not being in kind of a theta wave in terms of being able to relax and sleep, but being more in like a alpha or a beta, more activity going on. So I that makes total sense to me. And you're saying that, frequency medicine can help kind of restore that type of frequency that's appropriate for sleep.
Well, I told you grounding is without grounding, there's no such thing as safe frequency medicine. So that's how
that makes sense. And I think you made that very clear when you talked about, the wall socket and how
guess what frequency grounding truly is to the earth.
What?
The earth frequency is 7.86 hertz. And guess what? Theta is 4 to 8 hertz.
Oh, wow.
So if you're connected to the frequency of 7.86 hertz, guess what? Eventually, over a short period of time, your brain waves are going to connect to what you're connected to.
Wow.
We become one. I become 7.86 hertz in the brain because I'm connected to 7.86 hertz grounded.
And that's where you can relax. And that's where you can get better sleep.
Exactly.
Look,
this is crazy, right?
It's incredible.
This is crazy.
Wow. So many ramifications of that. But look, thank you for coming on my show. We got to do a part 2 for sure, because there's so much more that we can go into. You guys, I want you to download my podcast, The Concierge Doc. Go to my handles, Instagram, Facebook. You can also find this podcast on Amazon, Spotify, and of course, Apple. I can't wait to talk with John again. He's got these amazing technologies, so many places that we can go in terms of conversation. So I can't wait to have you on again. Thank you for coming on again.
Thank you. Operation Heal the World.
There you go. Operation Heal the World. Listen, thank you guys. I'll see you back next week on the Concierge Doc Podcast. Thank you for being on.